It's an exciting Saturday morning. We are here once again to unravel to you what is happening politically on the program Politics Today. I am Wilson Marshall, your anchor for today's program. We'll take a look at what is happening in the political terrain, talking about political situation in the country. Now, we've heard about the not too young to run bill, right? People are saying, Will, what if we should have not too poor to run? Have you ever thought about that? Today said that one of the aspirants got so dissatisfied that they choose to sue the political parties, some political parties to court, and of course the umpire of the elections to court, saying that the money used to purchase nomination forms is just exorbitant. Well, that's one of them that said they have to go and see elders, see leaders, see fathers. As you're seeing them, you know you have to, drop. You have to. You need to. Then what about the campaign process? And what was the money earmarked by the umpire that a particular candidate should really spend for an election, a party should spend for an election? Are they working with the accordance of the stipulated amount? Or some of them are going beyond it? Or according to maybe you spend the stipulated amount and you spend extra. How does it help our politics and our policy? I have wonderful analysts with me here in the studio and are going to throw more light on this discourse. To my far left, I have a journalist and a human rights activist. We talk about political, international, local, international politics. He is well grounded. Join me, welcome, Comrade Tony Era. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Wilson.
All right, I appreciate your coming.
Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
All right, now sitting close to him, my immediate left, I have a legal practitioner, a human rights activist, no other person than, Barrister Patrick Iswekono. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Wilson.
Welcome.
Yeah, happy New Year, Saturday.
All right, so here we are, taking a look at what is going on in our polity, and many Nigerians are not satisfied with what is happening, talking about the money earmarked for politicking. Let us start off with the purchase of declaration of intention and of course nomination form. We're talking about amount running into millions. Let me start off from you, Comrade Tony. What's your take on this?
Well, thank you, Wilson. I think it is very appalling, and it doesn't help a process that is supposed to take care of the generality of the people. Democracy being what it is, it's just one sure way of people getting the better days of life. When it comes to liberal politics and democratic practice, I think what we have in a situation where what individuals are supposed to pay in order to have representational power to represent the people is outrageous. If you look at it, there's nowhere in the world where people don't pay money or whatsoever to be able to assess a process and come to power and represent the people. But what we are talking about is a situation where it has now been commercialized, where it has now been merchandised in such a way that even the poor cannot access power. And it is now a thing of money illusion, that if one is not a money bag, he cannot go into public office and deliver the goods to the people. And it has now called for a situation where the money bags, who now becomes what they call godfathers, now have to dictate the pace. But the question is that what is supposed to bring the good deals of life to our people? Is that a process that we should always encourage? In the case of our country, Nigeria, I think Nigeria is one of the highest countries in the world, if not the highest, where one has to pay through the nose to be able to access power. And we thought, for instance, that this very government that we have, corrective the government is said to be, we thought that the government will have to deviate. But that is not the case. We have a situation where the rules and regulations of the limits of what people should get or put into it before they come to power has not been adhered to. In the immediate past government of the Goodluck Jonathan, we experienced a situation where a lot of money that are unaccounted for come into the body politic. Individual pay the money to access power. And even what we have in the government that is supposed to be corrective right now is more than what we used to have. Is that the way we should continue? I think it borders on the people having the will to be able to say this is what it must be, and it should be so.
All right, I will come back to you. From what he said, it cuts across party. Previous administration, and according to him also, the current administration, it's like they don't have this in check from his own opinion, from his own perspective. Are you towing the same line with him, or you differ in some regards of his opinions?
No, I agree with him totally. I agree with him totally. The system is faulty. A situation where you have to pay so much as 55 million to obtain a form, just a form. It is something that comes from concern. It's a serious matter. It's not a thing we joke with, because it presents danger for democracy. You see, because there's no need playing politics, turning with people's life through your policies. Because coming to power is a process. It's a process. You know that we are operating on democracy. It's not a thing government should play with, because democracy, as we operate today, is what you have in the Constitution. Understand me? It is a product of the Constitution. As noted to Section 14 of non-constitutional that was amended, made it clear that Nigeria shall be a state based on democracy and social justice. And it is the foundation principle that in Nigeria. Now, I talk about democracy. We are not talking about to obtain a form of 55 million. I think it's not really laughable. It's appalling. That's why even for the president of the country, is unable to pick the form. I learned that a group, some persons, pay for the president. That means it's laughable. What are we talking about? Nigeria is now a capitalist country where everything has been monetized. Nobody cares. Then you keep on making policies that will not work.
No, don't say nobody cares. Some people care.
Wait,
and I believe that at the end of the day they care.
Yeah, that's why I see some people, like the law they made last time, only 2 years to 1 bill. Oh, pass, fine. How do you expect a youth? If you're calling the youth, how do you expect a youth to get 55 million to pick a form? I know this is just wrong. Issue of, electoral issue is not a thing you toy with. This is just wrong. On the issue of servicing political leaders, other PRA that are involved in politics, talking about billions. And we are saying not to belong to a wrong bill. I expect this government to do something drastic to encourage young youth. By even trying to subsidize it to a minimal level, so that the youth can pick this form. Even if you can say, hey, at least 500,000 for youth. Just 500,000, it is reasonable. Not say 55 million, to tell us how to get it is, the president of the country cannot even afford it. And he said he wants democracy, which is the product of the Constitution. I think it's laughable. It's a faulty process. So I align myself totally with my colleague here.
All right. Now we have in some case 45, in some case 10 million for nomination, so total 45, 55. While in some other parties also we have 25 million. It's like a cut across both political parties. But is this the fault of the party or the system? Not to forget to mention that we have other political parties that may want to do this for some minimal amount. After all, nobody is forcing anyone to go purchase from a particular political party. How do you see that?
Coming to say that every party has a rule on what to give as a criteria for one coming to power is not ideal. All political parties, from what we know, are the same, and they run on the same. They should run on the same frequency. Some parties may be big, but that is not to say that they are bigger than the law of the land. If you look at the 1999 Constitution, Section 222 and Section 229 really gives the power to INEC, independent INEC as it should be, the power to peg and give a ceiling and said, this is the maximum that should be paid for who and who categories of people going to various offices. And I know also that that same law, as amended, 229 of it, 228 of it, is specific that INEC is the one that has the power to do that. But the National Assembly has the overall statutory power to be able to say this is what it should be, what should be. Then if you go further to 2000, the electoral law, 2003, 2007, and 2010, they are all specified. What should go into an election, presidential election, is 1 billion naira. Governorship election, 200 million. A senatorial, 100 million, and so on and so forth. Right? But if you look at what the president should take the president to come to power, what should be involved in the electoral process, run-ups and all that, you will see that $1 billion is even infinitesimal. It's too small. Because by the time you put about 200 million together, where it has to do with 36 governors and an FCT senator, you will see that it is about 5 times lesser than what it should be. So what I mean, in a situation where you legislate and you just out of thoughtlessness and you don't subject it to empirical evidence and you say this is what must be paid, you put a silly level, whereas it is not it's not activated. It's not the right thing to be. So what do you not want to have? You have a process where it has to be overdone, right? And we all know that when it comes to election, the political party itself has a lot of money to get from the system to be able to deliver. One, we will have to talk about running the offices of political parties, paying staff, going to conventions, doing all those things that are supposed to be necessary. You now see a situation where governors, all those who are in office, they now use the state apparatuses to run election. And you can imagine a political party that is not in power. Where does that party now have state resources to put in? So those are some of the things we are talking about. Okay. Just a while ago, we were told that 250 million, each governor was being taxed 250 million.
Do you have proof of this? Remember what was said before, you must only have proof of this?
It was, I said we were told, it was speculated.
Speculated, okay, fine.
And even as it was speculated, I mean, the APC government said there was nothing like that.
Like that. So okay, fine, let's leave it at that. Since it's just speculation, nothing like that, I don't want to dabble into that. I'll come back to that. You just hold on, I'll come to you. Okay. Now, from what Barrister Patrick talked about, they said it took some youths coming together to gather the money for the 5 million for the president to purchase his form. Yes, it was carried in the BBC. It was like an open thing. And for what he also said, President will have money to purchase the form, which is rightly correct from what we saw on the news. It's like in our country, the prices, well, I say the price for the form seems to be on the increase. If you talk about previous administration, there's always a top up on it. Some additions as in the courts across board. Why is it so?
I think government should be blamed. I mean, INEC. They should be blamed for such a atrocious amount. But therefore, because it's not really, you know what it is.
Is INEC a political party that plays the tax?
No,
Why
I mean,
INEC?
I'm not, I will say why I say INEC. I'm not registered them. Yes, to be a political party.
Yes.
Is INEC
Yes,
the body that send them the money to?
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. Yes, but
mind you, hold on, because mind that we are on air. For you to level allegation against a particular body, you must only have to go.
Yes.
INEC, the body telling them to peg in such an amount, outrageous amount.
Why I say, listen, why I say INEC? It's a, they call it constitutional evidence. There's something that might help me link it to you. Even if not that directly.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not going to play by INEC. I'm not going to say the political party. What I mean, you know what it takes to raise a political party to come into existence. Yes. You must have secretary in all the states.
Yes.
When they pay the staff, it's money. It's not a joking matter. Like my colleague said here, all parties are equal. So they have to pay. This is money. So to explain all these things, they are not for their Christmas. And you say want to run under their party, they will pay to give you a very big amount of money. What I'm trying to say is that if I make law and make this so, you understand me? So if you want to run as a political party, you can come. You don't need secretariat. You can come as people. If you meet up, we are so powerful. What is this issue of putting you or making it more capital intensive? At the end of the day, you say as a piece price for 10 naira for form. It's not possible. So don't approve. What I'm trying to say that you should stop registering the political party that they avoid this problem. Because of the issue of running political party about what matters. I'm not trying to digress. It's about what matters. So if I can say, if you want to register, let us have a three-party system. But we can raise as much as 100 because whether you like it or not, notice I go by next year we have about two political parties. The same problem. They always exist in theory or practical. So for them, no the political parties. I'm telling you. So the issue is that you can say, okay, let's have three political parties. Yes, this is the one we know. But you can register you, if any of the three, join them. Yes. So that the government cannot subsidize. These are the political parties. Yes. So they have control over them because you spend for them, you take care of them. Not when to your territories, how you exist, I don't know. I don't know if you want to fish for you want to fish for me. About the bit? No. So I say I make a start them. I need to supervisory body. They are with them. But to organize a convention, I know what it costs. There's some party they spend billions. That's what I mean. So it's not easy. So that's why I bring they try to pay convention rule. Take some justice action to make sure this thing done. We don't have such a problem. If I'm not able to do something, involve in the whole situation. You can freeze a form for even say 1 million. But not when you go to even some of them go to look for loan, set property, to meet up, at the end of the day you tell you to freeze for 1 million naira. So that's why I said I personally blame my neck. Then don't let people want a political party that they don't know how much it takes to have a political party. Why should they go for it? Why should they go for it? The other political party out of 90 political, there are so many that can belong. But you see, they have a right to have their own political, if they want to register. But I like now, these are some solutions that if you get time, we'll register you, but I'm not the state party, look at you don't want to join. You're not with them. Within the party, they can have ideology. Even the APP you see so far, APC, you see so far, APC. That's APP, CPC. That's not going to put in the party. That's what I'm trying to say. So say CPC cannot be crying now that how do I get money for convention? How do I get money for this? Or APP? You see, because they are interfering with their views. Their own body. So that's what I'm trying to say that this political party, if you know you cannot stand on your own because of the expenses involved, don't bother yourself. The I'm not talking about as a condition. You must accept once you are registered, any of the three political parties, join any of them. You can say your ideas within that party. So that's my own position.
All right, now we do want to toe the line. He's just told saying that INEC is partly responsible for the increase of political party fund, talking about millions right now, knowing fully well that INEC is not the body that tag or places prizes or nomination forms.
Well, I think When you say independent, the independent
National Electoral Commission.
Electoral Commission, you should be able to look at that word. The first word there is independent. If you say independent, the other one National Electoral Commission, what it means is that is the main body that is saddled with that power to be able to oversee every other issues that have to do with what we are talking about. So if we say it is INEC, then what are we talking about? I really think that the kind of party formations that we have is not supposed to be. It's over-bloated. And a situation where you have things that are over-bloated, a lot of things around, to be able to monitor and make sure that they do the proper thing becomes difficult. I think, and I'll continue to say, that the kind of democracy we run is one of the most expensive in the world. Because a man should be able to cut his clothes according to his size. If you look at it, quite honestly, I think INEC still has a lot of rejigging to do into our political system, especially when it comes to limitations to spendings. And we are aware also that even though over-bloated it is, there are certain laws and regulations that follows that the money that is meant for an election has to be the real one that is meant for. There's no enforcement, and they don't even monitor the kind of money that comes in. Because knowing fully well the kind of money that comes into an election or that propels individuals to power could be the same thing that could mar any political process. Because you can't expect somebody who has sold his house, who has gone borrowing, who has written MOU and the rest of them, you can't expect them to come to power, and they will not, when they come to power, that they should not service their godfathers who gave them the money to do that. We are particularly aware of the Christine Giggs saga, where the man who was said to have bankrolled him to office now said, okay, I want my money back. We are also aware of Laminde Adedibu and Rashid Ladoja of Oyo State. We have such situations, and it doesn't make things to be good. And what do you now expect? That a man comes to power, he puts all his money and everything, and by the time he comes to power, that he should not get his money back? Is that what we are talking about? I think what INEC really have to do is to make sure that before election, it has to be properly monitored, what they put in. And whoever does not come in, there are sanctions according to the rules of the law. And also that after each election, all the political parties and all the players who went for representational offices should be able to send back everything that entailed that election. Whatever they spent, what is left, whether material or money contributions or whatsoever. And we are even told that the least an individual can donate when it comes to somebody wrong, the most an individual can donate is 1 million naira. And we have situations where individuals bring in billions and all that. Is that the kind of political process we deserve? Not really.
All right.
If we continue like that, we are not going to reach the state of El Dorado when it comes to democracy practice and the good governance that our people show, that our people envisages for.
Okay. Now, from what you said all political parties are the same according to the law.
Of course.
But how come we have disparities in the prices of their forms? Because some political parties, some of them can give out their forms for free. Others 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, as the case may be. Why these disparities in prices?
Yes, before the law, they are equal the political parties. But practicability is subjective. Because the parties believe that, some party believe that if you go through their party, political party, you will skate through, you win your election. Based on that, they give you special prize. There are some political parties, you know, if you go, they are not looking for candidates, somebody will fly their name. Just to fly their name, have free of charge. But that is exercising futility. Naturally, nobody wants to involve in a business of any form that you spend your time, money just for trivial purposes. So then to waste your time. You feel that those political parties, they are serious people. Let's go to a political party where they are serious, where we can make headway. Those are the celebrity political parties. That is what they can tell you our form is 1 billion. Which I saw right now, we now affect other political parties because they are political parties, they have to put the same level. So some political parties are bigger than the other. But by law, they are equal. But by capability, they are not. There are a lot of disparities. Some political parties, this presidential election coming up, how many of them are ready to have a candidate there? Even the convention now, as I know said, I think about only 36 political parties, if I'm not mistaken, they have intention to for convention. Where you have almost 90 political parties. What are the 6 political parties? So now I say they only exist in theory, not practicable. No, they are not practicable. So the one prayer is come and fly. It's free. Come and fly. Fly. That's what they're after. But nobody will go there because I have no time to waste. Once you go on aspirants, even to have a press conference, inviting up press is money. Press men, every million they want to book is money. So it's not exercise for say let me go and play. It's not. It's a serious business. But this is a serious business. So that is just the issue. That's my take on that.
All right. Now, are people like saying that this is going to truncate, if not totally cut short the not too young to run bill? Like I said, my opening, why not bring up not too poor to run bill? So as this one is like happening in this dimension, talking about prices, talking about money being charged in nomination form, do you think that the not too young to run bill will stand?
Well, I would say that when you come with a bill that is either retrospective, goes to the back, and introspective, you shift it to the front. I think the tendency is that that bill or that law is not a law that is meant to work. What it means is that if a man is very autocratic, then I, Tony Era, goes to the man to look for his trouble. Then the man simply says, okay, because you abused my wife a year ago, any man who abused somebody's wife about a year ago should be taken to detention. That is a retrospective law to be able to put me in problem. Then, if I say I'm going to buy a boat, say 2 years' time I'm going to buy a boat, and you now make a law that anybody who is going to buy a boat within now the next 1 year will be jailed. What it means is that you don't want me to buy a boat. So if you have made the law on the not too young to run, and you are telling that they're not to start right away, what kind of law is that? It's a draconian law.
How is it a draconian law? Come on, the law is meant to encourage the youths to contest and participate in elections.
If it is meant to encourage the youth, it is not that the youth should not take off, and that you should not put all the paraphernalia there for that law to be attractive to the youth. If what we are talking about is that they had made this law on the ceiling, on what and what to pay for presidential contest, or wherever one want to aspire to. You now said, okay, we know who the youths are, right? And we know the category. When we are talking about the age of who a youth should be, you say, from this age to this age, let the youth not pay at all, or let there be a rebate. For instance, it is attractive that women don't pay for such. Is it not? You have encouraged the women to participate. If you now say the youth to participate, and you know they are the engine room of the society, and you know that they have the ideas that can lead the society ahead, like it is done in all those other countries where youths are making waves. Like Emmanuel Macron of France. Why would you not do certain things to make it attractive? In what sense? I'm asking you. Wilson, you are big enough to be Nigerian president, aren't you? Or if you cannot be, you can be a governor. If I ask you to come and vie for governor, as a governor, and I know you have the wherewithal, you have the comportment, you have everything, you are fit for that position.
And the 25 million
that they ask you, that you don't have it. What does it mean? I'm depriving you. So what I mean in the real sense, the government is not ready. Because when you talk about the government, you talk about the collective. That institution that makes things work. Because we are aware that at a time, government said, okay, let political parties be sponsored. And they were giving political parties subvention, which was very good. And that those political parties, they started going against it. They started misusing it. It was due to the fact that INEC itself does not have the inbuilt mechanism to be able to make certain system work. Because if you say you are going to be paying subvention to parties, right? You are going to ask one thing. Are those parties functioning the way they should function? Because we know that most parties we have are not parties that are disciplined. They are parties that are run by few individuals, cartels. It's not run by the collective. So if you have a party that is driven by dues, donations, and what have you, being paid by the general public, why would that party not do well? So if you say you want to pay subvention, you should make sure that those things, the rudiments that made the party to work, are there for the party to work. So that is why the blocks lie on INEC table. To be able to rejig a system that is already giving a lot of people pains.
All right. All right, if you just joined us, this is Politics Today. We're taking a look at political situation in the country, political spending in focus. We're taking a look at the prices also of nomination forms, talking about millions here. It took some youths to come together to gather money to help the president, our president, to purchase his presidential nomination form. And if the president can afford such, what about the others? What about the commander? What about you and I? What about the not too young to run bills? Now, we've spoken about the nomination forms being so exorbitant, depends on the party that you want to take as your platform. But actually, apart from the nomination form also, to finance congresses and conventions, that the money is so exorbitant that some politicians go out of their way to either borrow from banks, sell their properties, just to make sure that they have large followers that will aid them in the primaries. What do you feel about these practices, Barrister Patrick?
Yes, well, as advertised with the political parties that you have to spend so much to organize your convention or other congresses. Yes, you see, it is where they find themselves. It was said the cost of electioneering is not an easy thing. If you don't go borrowing, sell your properties, you cannot organize this congress or convention because they are expensive. They are expensive. So that is the reason why they need to sort of run at all costs, even mortgage the party at the hands of few individuals to enable them to skate through where they need billions of money. So ordinarily, it does not work well for our democracy. That's why last time I spoke, I said, I blame INEC. And if they have having about three political parties, you can oversee them. Then give them subvention. Yeah, because it's democracy. the federal government will be able to give them money, these three political parties, if there are three. That's what I mean. Knowing that we also assist them in the convention. But the money comes from governments. Nothing, not to say they are all to fund themselves. So, because they go to at any length to make sure they finance their convention.
All right, I believe that there is a call. I'll come back to you. 052-290-573 is the number to call for the part of the show. Hello, caller. Yeah, good morning. Welcome to Politics Today. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This Bishop is from Zabukidara.
All right, Bishop, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I agree all of you there. You see, when this bill was passed into law, not too young to run, I did mention that that bill will not stand the test of time unless you have another added bill that is still old to run. Because the old ones do not like to live there. And in as much as they remain there, they will find ways and means to crumble the youth so that the youth cannot climb to power. And that is what we are seeing now. You can imagine a situation whereby you say to obtain a form is 45 million naira. Where will the youth ever get it? I tried to make some little calculation. I discovered that a director who retired from service in Edo State, by the time he paid his gratuity, multiply it by 6, it comes up to 45 million. Which means if you have 6 retirees who are not getting their gratuity and they want to sponsor their just one son or one daughter, they cannot purchase the form. At least that is not enough. I wish if after the purchase of that form, that will be the end of it all. It is not. Right. You still need to have some expenses, which will be more than that 45 million to go for campaign here and there. It's that running to billions of naira. I ask the question, how much does a president earn in 4 years? Is it up to 1 billion? If it is not up to 1 billion, and they not spend more than $1 billion for election purposes, then how are they going to get back their money?
All right. All right.
Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you so much, Bishop. So he asked 2 to 3 questions that are about if the president's salary is not up to a certain amount, how is he able to, like, get the money now? Now, since they came together to purchase the form for Mr. President, how are they going to get back the money? That question is meant for you.
Well, no doubt. I want to quickly talk about what the caller has asked. I don't think that our good President Buhari doesn't have the money to pay for this. Honestly,
hold on. Comrade, are you in his pocket?
That is.
If you want to calculate, if you want to calculate with what he received, it may not be enough because they are not in his pocket, so we don't know.
No, I do not believe. Let me come. I do not believe that he doesn't have the money to pay as much as I believe that he is making what is called an allusion. He's making the reference.
You are not sure of this. You are not sure of this. So I want to pause you there because we don't work with assumption. He doesn't have it. You came together to do the thing. So let's work with that.
I think that the body language. Yes. I think the body language is that money, 55 million naira, is even too big. Taking into conclusion that it is not the president that has made the law, but when the law is there, the president should be seen as working within the ambit of the law. That's what I am saying. If you call Tony Ira, say, Tony Ira, you are local government chairman. We know that you are an acrobat. You can dance acrobatic. Within this very little place, come and dance acrobatic. I will not dance the way I'm supposed to dance, knowing fully well that where I'm going to dance is a very small place. That's what I'm trying to say. I would need like a situation where those who are going to public offices they will be seen as people who have gone to thrift society, money lenders and all that, and say, oh, I'm going to this place, so please, I don't have this means to be able to go there. Please, why don't you gather this thing together and give me, by the time I get there, I will get you paid. Right? That is what we are talking about. It's a bad precedent.
Comrade, we are pressed with time right now. I need to summarize your points. I'm going to wrap on this show. Now, what advice do you have for one of the politicians, INEC, political parties, with regards to the spending in elections in Nigeria?
Well, I think first of all, INEC should quickly look at first the fiscal policy of Nigeria, the way the strength of the naira, and should be able to tell us what is actually commensurate with what the political process or the activities demand.
All right.
And the political parties, mean again, INEC should be able to monitor this to the last.
All right.
Before elections and after elections. And ensure that when it comes to what every individual is for, what an individual has in form of properties and all that, INEC should be able to know before the election and after the election, and why he's in office and when he's leaving office.
Thank you so much, Comrade Tony Era. Patrick, quickly, we don't have time.
It's okay. I think INEC should overhaul political parties and set up a strong monitoring committee team that will monitor the financial activities of all the political parties. Something drastic should be done. Everything is done in terms of overhauling. Its status will remain the same.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Whatever they say here in the studio is entirely their own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV Radio. Tomorrow morning, on this morning on ITV, we'll take a look at the electorates and their role in the forthcoming election. From all of us here in the studio, it's bye for now.